never gonna be able to repair the wall what the Lord has torn down. That's what the enemy is doing to us right now. Why do you think that California is suing the White House administration? Because we simply want to build a wall. All right, we're not saying that we're going to shoot intruders. I mean, really legally, if people intrude your ranch or your house, I mean, in the good old days, you have the right, get out or I'll shoot. And people actually, you know, it's like in good old Western movies, I mean, I have never been there and stuff like that. That was like the way to take care of things, right? You don't intrude on, you don't rape somebody's wife, you don't intrude, you know, burn their house down. And I think that's an old Clint Eastwood movie. So probably his movie will be banned now because it's PC. It's not PC enough, you know, because of the PC attitude. So Shambhala said, you're never going to be able to rebuild the wall. And what he did, this is important. He mourned. I think this pastor said that Nehemiah called all the assembly and they mourned before the Lord. Like, I think it's just, you know, the old days, they tear up, they have ropes. So when you're in mourning, you tear up, like our countries are invaded. Remember the king? They tear up their robes in, what do you call that? In mourning, in fasting, and in seeking the Lord. That's just the reaction from all the way from, you're talking about the kings and the kings of Israel, David, all the kings, even Samuel was mourning, because those days when you prepare to battle, you better prepare to die, because the people are going to thrust you through with swords and you know, armories and arrows and stuff. So they mourn, they seek the Lord, they cry out in the assembly, and that's what God says. Don't tear up your garments, but tear your heart, rend your heart, and repent. So instead of like laying in ashes in the old days, because they have burlaps, that's a sign of mourning. They do cover their heads when mourning and seek the Lord. So seek the Lord with fasting. Oh, that's really hard, because modern day people, we don't know how to fast. You know, I don't, because when you don't know, you try to, your mind try to skip it, because that's like the hunger. It's the biggest drive that got put in us. I mean, next to sex, right? Hunger and sex and all these things are that God inputted upon us in this huge drive. You have to fill your stomach. So when you fast, you're denying that. And in fact, I'm just trying to veer off. Health-wise, it's good. It's better for your body to fast. So that's a totally different story. We're not going to get into that. But spiritually, the fasting, you know, Tom, this pastor, I think he's, you know, he's trying to be a little liberal by saying that, well, you know, if people don't fast because they can't, whatever, not eat. Of course you can not eat. That's what fasting is all about. It's hunger. So he says you can fast, but you know, I heard that before, like not watching TV for a day or whatever, right? But no, the true sense, I believe, I'm not arguing with the guy, you know, when he say fast in that sense, like just turn off your social media for a month or you know, that sort of thing. But true sense, the true fast is hunger, is your belly. And I even heard that you can start with the juice. No, it's prevalent, thank God, for cold pressed juice. You can get them for like $3-4, right? So a lot of juice that would, I suppose that's good. I give you the mineral, but really go to the water fast. In the old days, it's always I think sundown to sundown when the Jewish people. And sometimes when they call a solemn fast, like for the country, because the country is about to be demolished, it's a 3-day fast. You don't touch anything solid, you just drink water. And I know a severe, Jesus fasted 40 days and 40 nights, and so was Moses in the wilderness. They had nothing. I just don't know. I mean, I know, oh, well, you said Jesus, he's God, but the word says that he was hungry. Believe me, he was all man too. So he has to endure that. And, you know, I suppose our body, the first day is going to be hard because you have to resist the flesh. And I don't know why it's so powerful, because the flesh is the hardest thing to put away. It really is, because your flesh says, I got to eat, you know, stop by that Jack in the Box or whatever, give me a freaking Mac. But there's power. I don't know how. I mean, I know that we cannot earn the favor of God. That's what I know. It's a grace of God. So help me out. But there's power. It's like the weapons God gave you. Remember, I say pray, also fast. So prayer and fasting go hand in hand. But you know, when you fast, you're seeking the Lord. You're humbling yourself. It's almost like ashes, rend your heart and not your garments. And truly, I think the Lord requires an action, just like baptism is an action, it's a commandment. So I really think that it's important. It's a manifestation of your faith, because a lot of people say, oh, we can just stay home and worship. I used to think that, you know, of course you can stay in your closet. The Lord says that whatever you talk to between you and the Lord in the closet, that He will magnify in the open. But it's also, I believe, that when He commanded you to be baptized, there's actions you take as the verification. So not everything is done secretly, you see, and God honors that. So when you speak out, that's why when you go to church, I mean, it's not a formality. When you worship the Lord, lift up your hands, there's power in these things, and that's why I believe, that's why that I do it. Because I don't want to be doing something that's just, you know, totally it's not going to do me any good. Why? You know, you might as well punching against the air. But He says there's power when you clap your hands, when you worship the Lord, and of course we're humbling yourself. So all these things are still part of the learning process. And you know, don't be discouraged. Like if you failed, I mean, I just pray, you know, sometimes it's actually good for you not to eat. I'm not just saying not to lose weight, but not for the sake of losing weight, because I don't believe fasting is going to cause you to lose weight. But the way that we're made, really, this body is not made to eat 3 times a day. You're starting the oven, stopping it. You're making your liver work harder. So from the health point, yes, there's benefit that you actually let the liver rejuvenate 24 hours or 48 hours. There are some people I know that overcame diabetes by doing 2-3 day fast at a time. Just drink water. Honestly, I mean, I read that from Mercola's side. You know, I have to like, ooh, just 24 hours. Ooh, that's gonna be hard, right? Or try to like sneak to the refrigerator, or drink milk, or you know, get a little shake or whatever. So the fasting, call a prayer morning, and dedicate. I think that's the third thing I learned, is to dedicate. I used to think it's just a ceremony when someone dedicated their children, like, you know, church on the way, the baby got born, newborn. So Albert, we're gonna dedicate the child, you know, Albert and Alice, I'm just making up a name, right? To the Lord. So when you dedicate something, like they're dedicating the wall to the Lord, there is powerful thing in the spiritual realm. So I have to learn that, because otherwise I say, oh, just a ceremony. Like, why do I want to go to a ceremony? And why have a wedding? Why have marriages? I think by the declaration, somehow God sees that, and there's power in that. That's what I learned today. So hope to be able to get to see you. Oh yeah, and I mean, what else? This Tom Pershing guy. I don't know. Sometimes, you know, I don't want to be judgmental. So maybe I'm, you know, help me out here. You know, I'm not saying people I run into sometimes a little cuckoo, but it happens. I mean, come on. Even Pastor Jack said that the church is like a hospital. If you're well, you have no need of physician. Like Jesus said, that you guys are so good, you don't need, you know, you don't need me, you don't need Jesus. Because the Pharisees think they're just high and mighty. We don't need God. We have the best robe, and you know, we wash our hands. Oh, my hands are dirty because there's dirt outside. Yo, it's Jay Leno. But I have no idea why this guy. And I have to say that I think he irritated me. okay, so I took him out of my friend list, Tom Pershing. Not a bad person. I met him at a church on the way. I would say, you know, not excluding myself. People are peculiar. A lot of times when the people I ran into in churches are peculiar. So that's okay, because I've seen that. Someone said that there was that, like the gang, the Blood and Critters 13 or something, that one time they have a convoy of them. Somehow a youth pastor got them to the church on the way. They have to check their guns at the door. It was too funny. But I go, that'd be good. Convert the Blood and Critters, and so maybe they could be army and protecting us, right? Because nowadays you don't know what kind of people going to churches, because they're haters of Jesus Christ. So we always have armed guards there. And deservedly so. So Second Amendment, and build that wall. Anyways, now I realize it's biblical. You have to build that wall. So we gotta build that wall, and we have to like start praying and fasting so we'll have that wall. For the least one thing, I don't want people to say a wall isn't effective. Build a damn wall. It's a symbol of our sovereignty. You don't have a wall, you don't have sovereignty. Intruders, people can just come in and loot. And this is a prime example. I don't know how, if you got brainwashed, go look into the Bible. Nehemiah, clearly the Lord commanded us to build the wall. That's really it. So Tom Pershing, you irritate the crap out of me. What can I say? I have another friend crossed it. Well, she's sore loser. It's not about sore loser. I don't care. I have 5 rings. It's about technicality. You have to separate your brain. Not separate, you know, not like the Hannibal Lecter. You have to separate compartment, right? Emotional is one thing, but technicality is one thing. The same, if the guy didn't know, Tom Pershing didn't know what I was talking about. I talked about it even during the season. The 2 plays, exactly the same. I'm not joking. One is against the Buffaloes. That's Calvin Benjamin. If you go back, I don't know how you're going to Google search. Exactly the same play. Buffalo scored supposedly on the New England Patriots, but after the review got called back because he did not show possession. It was a pass play. So if I have to reiterate this again, you have to show possession if it's a passing play. He juggled the ball as he went out of bounds because he chose to throw it to the quarterback, choose to throw it to the sideline. You see, it's different than a running play. A running play, all you have to do is you have possession. When the ball, even the tip of the ball, cross the goal line, then it's a touchdown. But we're talking about pass plays, and the other play got called back during the regular season was Patriot against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So obviously Tom Pershing have not watched those games. Exactly the same. That's Jesse James. If you look, the receiver of the Pittsburgh Steelers did the same thing in the end zone, but did not. Was a call back. A touchdown was called back because it's different when you have to show possession as a pass play. So under the review, the 2 calls were reversed. Of course, when I mentioned that Bill Cowher from CBS, who used to be a coach for the Steelers, and of course you know CBS, they're so-called the MSM, the mainstream media, they all hire these people are politically correct. I mean, this it's natural. You have to be logical about this. So this PC guy, Bill Cowher, he said, and everybody else kind of follow as a sounding board, that the NFL should change the rules, and because the review shows the juggle of ball, we still should give them the touchdown. Because they were vehemently coming against the Patriots, you see. So this is why you have to do your research, what had occurred, and because the liberal media were attacking. Now what's being established, they shamed the NFL into just give it to them, even the show juggling, because he said they work so hard. He said that. Bill Cowher said this receiver works